welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're looking at something really quite fascinating. It's this intersection of cutting-edge artificial intelligence and, well, the reality of significant internet limitations in Eritrea.
It's a real paradox, isn't it? High-tech potential meeting fundamental infrastructure challenges.
Exactly. We've gone through quite a bit of research, notes, analyses, looking at AI in similar developing contexts. And our mission really is to pull out the key takeaways for you.
Yeah, to distill how AI could actually be relevant there, what the opportunities are, but also the hurdles, despite those internet constraints.
We know you want the core insights, quick and clear, so we've tried to synthesize everything without getting bogged down in excessive detail.
That's the goal, a clear picture of this complex situation.
Okay, so let's start with AI itself. Artificial intelligence, we hear the term constantly.
We do.
But fundamentally, it's about technologies letting computers do things that, well, normally require human smarts. Understanding language, analyzing huge amounts of data, making recommendations.
Right. And the engine behind it is data. AI learns from data using algorithms. Those are like the step-by-step instructions in machine learning, which is how the system improves based on experience, essentially.
Like learning to adjust a recipe based on how it tastes each time.
A good analogy, yeah. But the big question here, the paradox we mentioned, how does this super advanced tech work in a place like Eritrea where internet access is, frankly, very limited for many?
That's the crux of it, because so much AI we hear about relies on the cloud, on constant connection.
Exactly. So how can it possibly function effectively there?
Well, let's tackle that head on, the infrastructure hurdle. Our sources are unambiguous. Eritrea faces major restrictions on internet access.
It's not just a minor issue. It's a fundamental barrier for many standard cloud-based AI solutions.
And putting it in a broader context, this isn't unique to Eritrea, is it?
Not at all. The research shows that something like less than 20%, fewer than 1 in 5 developing countries, really have the robust infrastructure needed to fully leverage AI. Internet penetration across Africa generally is still quite low compared to other regions.
So this lack of reliable, widespread internet directly hinders developing and deploying AI that needs that constant online link.
Absolutely. It fundamentally restricts what's feasible with many off-the-shelf AI systems.
Okay, so cloud-based AI in Eritrea sounds challenging, to say the least, like that Linky bucket analogy.
Pretty much, for now at least.
But, and this is where it gets hopeful, the research highlights specific AI approaches that are actually designed for these kinds of environments. We're talking about edge AI, offline mobile apps.
These are the key workarounds, absolutely. Edge AI basically means processing the data locally right on the device or nearby instead of sending it all off to some distant cloud server.
So it cuts down the need for that constant internet pipe.
Drastically.
Yeah.
And then you have offline mobile applications. These are AI-powered apps built specifically to work even when there's no active connection. Think like downloading a map versus streaming it live.
Right. Downloaded content works offline.
Exactly. The AI models and necessary data are already on the device.
And the potential uses are really quite compelling. Imagine an AI symptom checker in a basic health app on a simple smartphone.
That could extend basic medical knowledge out to remote areas, even without internet, or offline educational content using AI.
Making learning accessible anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, and think about agriculture. Offline AI tools letting farmers diagnose crop diseases just by taking a picture with their phone.
Wow.
Or maybe early warning systems for disasters that can function with just minimal connectivity, perhaps even SMS-based alerts triggered by local data analysis.
These aren't just theoretical ideas, then.
No, the research points to real examples in similar regions, like simple AI-driven farming advice via SMS showing measurable improvements in crop yields. It's about leveraging what is available.
Okay, so focusing on these internet-like technologies, let's look at specific sectors in Eritrea, or places like it, where AI could genuinely make a difference. Healthcare seems like the obvious first stop.
Definitely. Even with patchy internet, AI offers a lot. Telemedicine can still work when there is a connection, for brief consultations maybe.
Right. Opportunistic connectivity, expert speaker. But perhaps more impactful are those offline tools, the AI symptom checkers, diagnostic tools that analyze medical images like X-rays or scans locally on a device, or with just a small data transfer. So bringing diagnostic help closer to the patient.
Precisely. And expert systems, basically AI loaded with medical knowledge, could offer remote support for diagnosis and treatment protocols, guiding local health workers. It's about getting expertise where it's needed most.
Bridging the gap, even without constant bandwidth. Okay, what about education?
Another huge area. AI could help personalize learning, maybe offer some online tutoring when connections allow, but the real potential in low connectivity zones is that offline AI content.
Interactive lessons, tailored practice, all accessible offline.
Exactly. That's potentially transformative. Plus, AI might help teachers with admin tasks, freeing them up for more direct teaching.
That's huge for accessibility. Now, agriculture fundamental for Eritrea's economy. How does AI fit there?
It could really boost productivity and food security. Think precision farming, using AI to analyze local data soil types, weather patterns to optimize water or fertilizer use.
Using locally gathered information.
Yes. And those offline mobile apps for monitoring crop health, identifying pests or diseases from images, that allows for quicker responses.
Timely intervention.
Right. And better crop yield predictions based on local conditions, helping farmers plan better. We've seen in other parts of Africa how AI analyzing satellite images, even with limited ground connectivity, gives warnings about potential droughts, for instance.
Empowering local knowledge with data.
Right.
Tailored to the specific place. Okay, governance. Maybe less obvious, but the sources suggest potential there too.
Yeah, it's interesting. AI could potentially streamline some public services, perhaps analyzing citizen feedback collected via simple methods like SMS surveys to pinpoint key concerns.
Even without complex online portals.
Right. Or enhancing the analysis of government data that is collected locally to improve how resources are allocated. There's even potential for AI to spot anomalies in financial records, say, which might help identify patterns suggesting corruption or fraud.
Interesting. So improving efficiency and maybe accountability, using the data available, and finally, building resilience. That seems vital.
Absolutely critical. AI could help predict disease outbreaks by analyzing patterns in limited health data that is reported.
Spotting trends early.
Exactly. It could also provide farmers with specific advice on adapting to climate change based on local climate data analysis and enhancing those early warning systems for disasters using whatever communication works like SMS triggered by AI analyzing weather data.
So the potential is definitely there using these adapted AI approaches. But let's be realistic. The research is clear about the challenges too. They're significant.
Absolutely. We can't gloss over the financial and technical barriers. There's likely a shortage of people with AI skills, limited money for investment, maybe not enough government push behind it yet, and AI isn't cheap to set up initially.
And the risk of the digital divide just getting wider.
That's a huge concern. AI could end up benefiting only those who already have some access, leaving others further behind. Plus, there's the issue of digital literacy.
People need to be able to use these tools.
Right, so interfaces need to be super user-friendly, maybe localized in language and design. And we have to consider potential job displacement in labor-intensive sectors, too.
Serious economic and social factors to weigh. And then there are the darker potentials, misuse.
Yes, things like disinformation, increased surveillance, censorship, those are risks anywhere AI is deployed, but perhaps amplified where oversight might be weaker, and ethical concerns are paramount.
Like algorithm bias, data privacy.
Exactly. Bias baked into algorithms trained elsewhere, data security issues, concerns about algorithmic colonization where foreign tech dominates, potentially even exploitation of local workers for tasks like data labeling, and dependency on foreign tech can stifle local innovation.
A lot to navigate carefully. And now an interesting point raised in the sources is the potential role of diaspora scholars, Eritreans living and working abroad.
Yes, this could be really valuable. People with specialized skills and international networks could contribute hugely to building capacity back home.
How so?
Through collaborations with local universities, maybe developing relevant courses, offering training or mentoring, helping set up tech programs. It's about transferring knowledge and building local expertise.
Acting as a bridge for skills and knowledge. What else?
They could also help foster local innovation mentoring startups, linking Eritrean businesses with international partners, maybe contributing to national R&D efforts. And their international standing could help advocate for support, for funding, and ensure Eritrea's perspective is heard in global AI policy discussions.
So they could be really key connectors, linking local needs with global resources and best practices.
Potentially, yes. And crucially, helping establish ethical AI frameworks that incorporate both global best practices and deep understanding of the local Eritrean context.
Okay, putting it all together, what should policymakers say, the Eritrean government, be thinking about? What are the recommendations?
Well, the research points to a few key areas. First, continued strategic investment in digital infrastructure, even if it's incremental. It's foundational.
Makes sense. Building the base.
Then integrating AI concepts into education, starting to build that future workforce, and actively nurturing a local AI ecosystem supporting local developers, startups.
Growing it from within.
Yes. And critically, creating clear ethical guidelines for how AI should be developed and used in Eritrea, tailored to the specific context. Public-private partnerships are also highlighted as important, pooling resources and expertise.
So a coordinated national strategy seems essential. What about international help?
International organizations have a big role to play. Funding, technical help, sharing knowledge, promoting inclusive governance structures for AI, and importantly, focusing capacity building efforts on local needs, using local knowledge, ensuring solutions are sustainable and actually benefit Eritreans long term.
Right. Avoiding just parachuting in solutions. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. We've taken this deep dive into AI's potential for Eritrea, despite those real internet limitations.
And we've seen that things like Edge AI and offline apps offer genuine promise in key areas: healthcare, education, agriculture, even governance and resilience.
But we've also laid out the serious challenges: the infrastructure gap, the cost, the skills needed, the digital divide risk, and all those critical ethical questions.
Yeah, navigating this requires tackling those challenges directly. And the role of the diaspora, plus smart forward-thinking policy from the government and support internationally, those seem vital for maximizing the upsides and minimizing the risks.
So the big takeaway. It seems that while it won't be easy, there is a path for AI to make a positive difference in Eritrea, even with current constraints, if approached thoughtfully.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. We often see incredible resourcefulness in communities that have limited access to resources or infrastructure. So considering that ingenuity, how might Eritreans themselves uniquely shape how AI is used and maybe even developed there precisely because of the constraints they face? What unexpected, locally grown solutions might bubble up from navigating these challenges?
Something to ponder.
Yeah.
There's a fascinating question about innovation born from necessity.